Every little crack that you let in, where people are doubting you, telling you not to do it, trying to pull you back, will eat away at anything you could be building in a very insidious way. If you've ever been to the beach and you see water come up to a sandcastle that you've been building, it doesn't wash it away most times immediately. It just takes a few grains of sand at a time until the whole thing collapses. That's what's happening. And you might think, no, that's my sister. Oh my God, no, that's my mom. And fuck them. And I really mean that. Welcome back. Welcome to the House of Castell. So today we're going to talk about the foundation of everything. This is, essentially step one in any major leap, any major progress, anything that you're trying to do, even if it's a side hustle, a main hustle, a new career path, a new family, a new faith. This is step one. Let's jump right into it, huh? So if you're the 99%, right, who wasn't born in the perfect family, in the perfect region of the world, with the perfect guidance and the perfect resources and the perfect genetics, the perfect coaches, and the perfect circumstances that allowed you to win or lose or learn. And you didn't have the perfect structure needed where if you did lose and learn, you weren't able to hop right back on the horse. Or if you made a mistake or got injured, for you, that was it, right? So let's talk about that. Let's talk about how we are the unlucky ones. The people who are on stage from an early age, that could be dribbling a ball or jumping off a jump on a snowboard or a ski. It could be singing a song on stage and having the adoration of millions of people. It could be working in finance right out of college and hitting your first big deal for millions of dollars without even really trying, right? If you're not one of those people and you're in the 99%, the 99% of people who have to get it out the mud, honestly, let's just call it what it is. You actually got to work and actually strategize and figure out how to get where you want to get to, because the ball didn't bounce your way. This episode is for you. This episode is for you. Let me say it again. This episode is for you. Okay? So I'm just going to hop right into it. All right? This is step one of kind of, let's call it like a pyramid of building on top of each other. And by the end, that is when you reap your harvest that I talked about previously. And when I got into that analogy, I was really thinking like, okay, harvest, sowing your harvest, reaping your harvest. But when you really think about it, reaping that harvest starts way before you actually plant those seeds. There's a lot of pre-work that happens as well. And I intuitively knew this. Like I knew that there was this pre-work, but it never occurred to me to talk about. I'm not sure why. So this pre-work is the foundation that I'm talking about today. This is the work that allows you to choose the right tools, choose the right soil, choose the right seeds, and choose the right plan so that your harvest is successful. So I said all that. What am I talking about? Okay. So the first thing that we have to get right is ourselves. We have to get our mind and our body right. Because using that same harvest example, we need, number one, the knowledge of how to plant the seeds. We need the knowledge of what seeds are best, how they interact with our particular soil, We need to be able to strategically plan out what kind of tools we'll need, what kind of machines we'll need, how many people we'll need. All that comes with education. That's working on your mind. We also need the discipline to follow through with that strategy, with that plan. That's working on your mind. And we also need the fortitude for when we notice that something is going wrong on the eastern side of our field. Let's say there's a fire or a pest or our main tractor goes down, anything. We need the fortitude to be able to compartmentalize that issue, figure out a solution, and move forward without breaking down ourselves. That's in the mind. And we also need physical strength. A lot of people don't realize how important it is for physical activity, strength, being in shape, to be able to withstand so many of the things that we go through in the world. The first thing that we have to do is isolate. Before anything else, our number one thing to do is isolate. No going out, no fraternizing, no inviting people over. And actually, if you want to take a step further, actively pushing people out of our lives proactively for many different reasons. And I'll circle back to that at the end because that one is a little bit tough for people to wrap their mind around. No one really wants to push away people because it's hard out here, but we have to do it. So I'll skip that and go back to the isolation. A lot of people have used isolation in the past. I mean, it's one of those things that it's common throughout not only history, but even our religious and historical texts. Moses, 40 days on Mount Sinai before he brought down the Ten Commandments. The Prophet Muhammad, isolated in the caves before he was visited by the angel Gabriel and he was able to start his ministry. Jesus, 40 days in the wilderness. Buddha, isolated as well and meditated before he was able to reach enlightenment. And those are just a few examples. It's a timeless narrative. It's something that, whether you're religious or not, doesn't really matter. Take it for what it is. It's human nature is what it really is. You have to isolate, calm your mind, and focus, whether that's through prayer or meditation, so that you can actually direct your mind's thoughts and have them zone in on what you need it to be. Because we live in a world where, to put it lightly, is extremely distracting, whether it's podcasts or movies or social media or family and friends and kids and responsibilities and work and society as a whole. Everything that's going on is happening at the same time. It's vying for your attention. How can you possibly focus long enough to strategize, come up with your plan for whatever it is you're trying to do with all of that going on at the same time? You need to shut that down. You need to shut that down and isolate and come to center so that you are able to really put all of your mind's brain power and horsepower into the pinhead of your idea and just focus in on it. If you can focus in on it in that way, it becomes much easier for you to figure it out, for you to strategize, for you to work through the problems of it. I mean, and it's not even just religious texts. Thomas Edison wrote a lot about how he isolated when he was working on his biggest projects. Nikola Tesla said the same thing. Isolation is the key. The mind is sharper and keener in seclusion and uninterrupted solitude. In his own essay and interview, he says, originality thrives in seclusion. Be alone. That is the secret of invention. Bill Gates said something similar. I began taking an annual think week when I would isolate myself in a cabin with nothing but a big bag of books and technical papers. And that brings me to my second point, which is education. I don't care how you get the education. I don't care if it comes from a school. I don't care if you go out and read the books yourself. I don't care if you learn it online or if you go out and, get the education from people. Isolation without education is worthless. You need to be consuming knowledge ferociously during your isolation. So when you're not meditating or praying, you need to be learning. And you need to be learning things across a varied level of topics. Yes, let's say you can put 70% towards what you really want to know about, but that 30% should be creative. It should be varied. It should be nebulous almost, the way you pick the topics. Because you never know how one topic can inform another and how it can fit into your plan in ways you never thought of if you're not educating and consuming and really sucking in the knowledge and bringing it into your brain and chewing on it every single day. Right? So, we talked about isolation, prayer, meditation, whichever one you want to do. Just pick one. Okay? And education, increasing the amount of things that your brain has to chew on. If we want to be able to, and I touched on this earlier, plant our seeds, we need to know what kind of seeds work best. And it's not just what kind of seeds work best, it's what kind of seeds work best for our soil. It's not just what kind of seeds work best for our soil, it's what kind of seeds work best for our soil, for our equipment. It's not just what kind of seeds work best for our soil, for what we want to grow, for our equipment, but also maybe I don't want to water them every week. I need to figure out what kind of seeds work best for me. I need to figure out what kind of equipment works best for me. I don't want to drive it. Maybe I want it to drive itself. Maybe I want it to be so easy to pilot that I can bring in anyone that I need to be able to drive that equipment. These are only things that can be learned from isolation and education so that you can put these pieces on the board and see it clearly without distraction, without people coming to you and bringing you off course and changing your mind. No. Isolate, put your pieces on the board and see it all clearly. Now, you've isolated, you've educated. Now, what's next, right? So I put down here, we need to start the discipline engine. So isolation is a part of the discipline engine. Meditation is as well. When you commit to that isolation and you stick to it, when you commit to that prayer and meditation and you stick to it, what you're really doing on the low, you may not realize it, is you are flexing and working out your discipline muscle, right? This is the beginning of something that will carry you through for a very, very long time. We need that discipline muscle to be strong because as the stakes get bigger, the only thing that will keep the engine going is your discipline. So we really need to start that discipline engine and we need to take it to another level. So you've been isolating, you've been educating. Now we got to start cutting some things out. So a lot of times when people are, feeling down or confused or any sort of negative affectation in the mind or body, what do you start doing? You start abusing the body because you want to escape. So now we're going to cut out any kind of intoxicants. No alcohol, no marijuana. I'm only going to mention those two, but nothing. We're not going to escape. We're going to face everything. We are not going to escape. We're going to face everything. Let me say that one more time. We're not going to escape. We are going to face everything head on. And I want you to trade your need and your want and your desperation to escape with meditation and prayer. And one more thing. We're going to start moving our body. We're going to start moving our body. We're going to start working out. And I don't mean like, we're going to lift 5-pound weights twice a week. I mean, you're going to work out and absolutely destroy yourself. You're going to be so drenched in sweat and tired. You're going to work. You're going to work. You're going to work. You're going to work. Okay? You're actually going to work out like a high-level athlete. And I don't care if you haven't worked out in a long time. I don't care if you are wheelchair bound. You're going to work. You're going to work your body. And it has several benefits. Remember, this is the baseline. We're building the baseline. Number one, it's the discipline of it. We're working our discipline muscle. Because there are going to be days where you don't want to go. There's going to be days where you dread going, actually. And those days that you go, when you dread going, you just became a new person. You just leveled up. So you're going to go. You're going to lift heavy weights, or you're going to run miles until your body is in pain. And then you're going to do it again 3 days later. And then you're going to do it again 3 days later. And then you're going to do it again. And you're not going to stop. This is who you are now. You're a runner. You lift. This is your new identity. This is what you're going to do. Why? Not only does it build your discipline muscle, but it is another form of meditation and prayer. I'll tell you an example. When I was lifting very heavy, you would come into the gym, got your headphones on, you're zoned out, you listen to your music. And by this time, I've been lifting for years, right? So I know the game. I'm going for a PR today. This is a PR day. PR day is a day where you wake up, you don't miss a single meal that day. As a matter of fact, for 3 days before your PR day, you don't miss a single meal. You're eating perfectly by that time. Discipline, muscle. The day of the PR day, you haven't missed a single meal. You slept great last night because you went to bed early because you knew you had a big lift this day. Discipline. You get to the gym. You don't care where you got to park. You don't care how busy it is. You don't care if it's crowded. You go in. You start getting set up. You start warming up. Your form, immaculate. Discipline. You lay down on that bench when you're getting ready. You do your movements. You get into your mode. And you shut your brain off. You look at that bar and your mind goes blank. The only thing I would see when I'm looking up at that bar, when I'm about to do that bench press for a new PR, is I would say, I'm going to throw this bar through the ceiling. I'm going to throw this. That's the only thing. Money problems, family problems, friend problems, work problems, problems in life, problems in society, it's all gone. The only thing that matters is I'm going to throw this bar through the ceiling. That's meditation. It's a singular mental focus at a point in time. You're working your ability to focus. You're working your ability to really lock in when you need to. And when you're under that new weight that you've never lifted before, and you are trying to throw it through the ceiling, nothing else in the world matters besides lifting that weight. Nothing. That's the meditative part of it. You're training yourself to lock in. And when it comes time for you to plant your seeds and it's raining and it's terrible weather and the tractor won't start and everything is going wrong, you've pre-trained yourself to lock in. Today is the day to plant because you did your prior work. You isolated, you educated, and now you have the discipline to execute. So it doesn't matter if you're lifting or you're running or you're rowing or you're swimming or whatever it is you want to do, you are going to move your body. At least 3 times a week, hopefully 4 to 5. And you're not going to stop until they're throwing dirt on top of you 6 feet under. Understood? Next, what else does your body do for you? Well, when you work your body and you start getting in better shape, whether you feel stronger, you have more cardiovascular endurance, it helps your confidence. Okay? You feel better. You physically look better. Your skin is clearer. You don't, get out of breath going up the stairs. You're a whole different person. You walk into a room as someone, when you gain weight and you gain muscle, your presence is different. You walk up straighter. If you've been trying to lose weight and you walk into a room, your swag is different, right? Because you're winning. You just hit a PR yesterday. Who cares about what happened today? Yesterday, you just hit a PR. You're feeling good. It helps your confidence. It helps. So, that's working your body, okay? And not only that, if anything happens, let's say you get sick or you hurt yourself, that strength that you have from working your body and working on yourself helps you weather those harder periods. Where if you didn't have that physical and cardiovascular and mental strength, it's much more likely that you'll fall off of your discipline. Because after you get sick, and let's say you lose 10 pounds because you had the flu, if you were in shape, that's fine. That's no problem. If you're out of shape and you're sick and you're already not in the best of physical condition and now you're losing weight and it's going to take you much longer to spin that cycle back up and keep going. Now, I said I would touch on this by the end, but before I say that, another thing, you got a grind ahead of you. It's going to be intense. Whatever it is you're trying to do, it's going to be intense. You're going to go through ups and downs. It's going to suck at some points. It's going to be absolutely great at others. But being physically fit helps get you through that. When you have to haul a suitcase, when you have to run to catch a plane, when you've got to move and shake in a way that you may not be prepared for, that physical fitness will get you there. Okay? This is not just talking. It's going to get you there. Now, I said I would touch on this. Cutting people off. Cutting people off is not, it's not easy. But it needs to be done. So let's talk about it. This is part of your isolation. Now, I'm not just talking about cutting people off who are bad for you, obviously. Obviously, we're going to cut off people who are bad for us, but sometimes we have to cut off our enablers. People who are technically not hurting us, but they're not pushing us to be better. They have to go. We also have to cut off people who doubt us. When I started my recent business a couple years ago, people literally laughed at me. No joke. When I told them what I wanted to do, they literally laughed at me. They literally told me, you can't do it. What are you doing out there? You can't do it. Mind you, we're about to cross $100,000 a month in revenue. And I had people telling me I can't do it. They have to go. I remember I told my plan to someone, and this individual kind of chuckled, like, okay, yeah, I believe it. But that chuckle, fuck out of here. They're gone. You need to be around people who, when you tell them what it is you are trying to do, whatever it is you're trying to do, whatever change you're trying to make in your life, whatever it is, that they are enthusiastically supportive of it. Blindly. I don't care how many times you failed at it. I don't care if this is something out of left field that they've never heard of. You need people around you that are enthusiastically supportive of what it is you want to do and what you're trying to do. Everyone else has to go. Now, I'm not saying they have to go permanently, but they have to go for now. Because you have to be insane and maniacal and absolutely batshit crazy about protecting your mental. Every little crack that you let in, where people are doubting you, telling you not to do it, trying to pull you back, will eat away at anything you could be building in a very insidious way. If you've ever been to the beach and you see water come up to a sandcastle that you've been building, it doesn't wash it away most times immediately. It just takes a few grains of sand at a time until the whole thing collapses. That's what's happening. And you might think, no, that's my sister. Oh my God, no, that's my mom. And fuck them. And I really mean that. And if it has to be temporary until you get where you need to get to, that's fine. That's fine. And if cutting them off for you just looks like putting them in a box where they can be safe, where you don't tell them your plans, you don't discuss what you're trying to do, that's okay too. If you really can't do it, you're going to have to do it that way. But you absolutely need to move people out of your sphere of influence who are not on board. So that's what I got for you today. Isolate, pray, meditate, educate, work your discipline muscle, and move your body. You need to fortify your body and your mind. And that's where I am right now. As I record this, that is the step that I am in. I have a crazy year ahead of me. Over the next 3 to 4 months, traveling all across the country, building up our team, training our team. That's going to take a lot out of me physically and mentally. If I am not strong internally, there's no way that I can build an organization of hundreds of people on top of me. It's never going to happen. If I am not strong mentally, there is no possible way for me to deal with the stresses of a large organization. I'll fold. I'll crack. After this season, this year with our company, I took a month and a half off. I was completely burnt out. I wasn't ready for what was coming. We did amazing, yeah, but I wasn't ready. So I realized, okay, we got to get back to basics. And so I really broke down, okay, what have I done each time I need to make a leap? And so that's what this is. Build your foundation. Lay out your foundation. Take the time to build and lay out your foundation. Okay? Whether it's a month, 6 months, or a year. You need to take these steps first because you got to put the pieces on the board and be able to see the entire playing field at one time. And everything has to fit together. And there's no way to do that without isolation. So thanks for visiting the House of Castell. The next one's going to talk about the next step up, and I'll go over that at that time. Take care.